I have a tendency to kind of jump into things. When I built up this gravel bike, I had come from running a triple gravel bike, so pretty standard. Like I ran a 30, 20, I think I had like a 30, 39, 52 or something like that front chainring, and then I had a 28 on the back. So pretty low gear, 30, 28, but not really low enough for gravel riding when your gravel riding includes like some pretty intense climbs, especially when that gravel gets soft. You know, you want a lot of range for gravel riding unless it's all flat. And so um, when I built this bike up, I ended up getting a 28 on the back, like I had normally been riding. Maybe even I might have got up to a 30 or 32 cassette, I can't remember. And I found this trekking crank, which is like a 48 front chain ring. So the big ring's a 48, and I think the small ring's like a 36 or something. So it's just a little lower than your standard 39, uh, 53 or whatever. So it seemed pretty good. I liked it. But that was several years ago, and I'm a little heavier now. I'm not quite in as good a shape. Plus, I think I prefer lower gears. I want to spin up the climbs. So I decided, okay, what I really need is one of these gigantic, huge chainring or cassettes that are pretty commonly available now. And I didn't really do any research on this. I just jumped in. I just bought one. You know, I bought the cassette and I bought a deore 11-speed rear derailleur. And little did I know that 11-speed mountain bike is different from 11-speed road bike. I didn't know the cable pull, but it's really pretty simple when you understand why they did what they did. Look at that ridiculous thing. I mean, that's pretty wild, right? That's a 50 or 46. I went with a 46. Now, these new derailleurs, you know, they have the clutch, and the clutch requires more pressure at the lever because the clutch means you've got to, before this derailleur is going to shift, you've got to break past that clutch tension. In the past, Shimano always wanted light action. You know, they wanted the smallest amount of pressure required at the lever to get this thing to shift. But now with the clutch, we've got much more, I mean, much better drivetrains as far as like, you know, it's way more, a lot less chain slappage. It's way quieter. It works a lot better. But we also have to have way more shifter power, you know. And one of the ways that they can get over that power or that problem is to give you more leverage. You can have more leverage. So if you look at one of these derailleurs, if you look at something like this, the distance between the pivot point and this is really short. And with these new derailleurs, the pivot's moved way farther back, giving you more leverage, so that when you there's just a lot more force amplified when you shift a small like rapid fire shift lever. But we don't need that necessarily on a road bike because we already have large shifters that can, you know, the big lever can give you a lot more force to shift with. So the problem is they're not moving nearly as much cable. So that's where you need this Tanpan to amplify your cable movements. So the cable comes through the small wheel, goes around, comes out the big wheel, moving just a little bit more cable. Before the Tanpan, when I installed this, I could shift through about 6 of the 11 gears. And it missed shifts about every 2 or 3 shift, you know, so it was only using about half the cassette. With the Tanpan negotiator, that's what they call it, I can now shift all of them. So this is really the only option to get my 105 levers to work with Shimano deore rear, 11-speed rear derailleur. Now I know I have a problem here. I'm gonna check out real quick. I'm pretty sure my chain's not really long enough to go big, but let's find out. So I need a slightly longer chain. I can't quite get it into the big combination on my chainring. But, you know, why would I ever use that anyway? So, and I probably will only be on this thing just a few, maybe like once or twice in a ride, you know. Maybe Silica Hill, maybe a couple of those really steep climbs. All right, so let's check that out, shifting. This is with the clutch on. Going down, no problem whatsoever. Whoa. Going up, definitely takes more shift pressure than I'm used to. You got to push a little bit harder on the lever. No problem running through all the gears. Shifts pretty much perfectly. And that's even with a crappy, just plain galvanized cable, because I don't have a really nice coated Shimano cable for the system like it's supposed to have. And it seems to shift really good. I did replace this housing. The only thing I don't like about this is this really sharp bend. It looks almost like it needs to be shorter, but if it's shorter, it should actually be longer. I cut it too short. If it's shorter, then it can't quite make this bend properly, and it gets in there crooked. If it was longer, it would come out a little farther and have a little less curve to it. It's this bend right here that I don't like, but it definitely seems to be working, so it's all good. So I've got crazy low gears now. This was about 70, this was about 50, this was about 40. This is the stupidest part, though. This thing shouldn't be $40. I mean, it's a ball bearing. I mean, this is probably going to cost $5 to make or something. So it kind of sucks that they charge $40 for it. And it really also, Shimano, like if they wanted to be more user-friendly, it wouldn't be that hard to fix this probably by giving you 2 cable mount options, but that would be confusing. I could kind of understand why they wouldn't do it. If you want to use this leverage officially with Shimano, you'd have to buy the GRX levers, which have the right cable pull for this 11-speed derailleur. So anyway, gonna have a lot easier time climbing hills. It's a little heavier. I think overall my drivetrain will be a lot better than the old 105 system I had. I think my derailleur said the maximum for my old derailleur was like 28, and I was using like 30 or 32 on it or something. So I was kind of pushing it too far anyway. Alright guys, that's it.